driving the Jaguar F-Type all-wheel drive R Coupe. What a magnificent piece of machinery. Just really tends to just make the hairs on your back stand up like a lot. You know, if you're a bit of a hairy back kind of guy. I'm not, but we won't go into more detail about that. But what you're looking at here is an all-wheel drive vehicle. It's the Jaguar F-Type. We've got 405 kilowatts of pure grunty, horsey, meaty power underneath the hood, and that is transferred to all four wheels and through a beautifully 8-speed ZF gearbox. The engine is a 5-litre supercharged V8, and the exhaust note, as you can very much hear, is just loaded with a whole bunch of fuel running through that exhaust, just emitting a whole bunch of pops and explosions and all sorts of things. But quite honestly, I've had this car for a couple of days now, and I have never experienced as much fun in a vehicle as I have with this car. Oh, it's so much power! Oh, glory. These gear changes are just manic and amazing. The sound and oral note from this car just makes me want to go faster and faster and faster. Flies everywhere. Bloody hell. This farmland crap is horrible. Sure, what an incredible car. It just sounds beautiful. That engine tone I just cannot get enough of. The snaps, crackles and pops are just something far beyond anything imaginative. But sure, what a superb car. What a car. I think the last time I had as much fun in a car was when we drove the McLaren 650S, which was a beautiful car, but at 6 million rand is pretty much unattainable for most people. But what we've got here is a 1.8 million rand 405 kilowatt beast. And while you might say that 1.8 million rand is a hell of a lot of money, it really is. But for someone who wants that kind of performance, that's just the way it is. So it's a brilliant car. So one of the things that you'll find in this car is that the interior isn't quite as plush as one would expect for a Jaguar. But then again, I mean, you look at these things like there's a bit of fake carbon fiber going on here and a bit over there, and it's a little bit plasticky, and you know, it's not quite the interior that you'd be befitting of a 1.8 million rand car. But you know, at the same time, you do have a whole bunch of leather upholstery along the top of the dash with this beautiful red stitching. The seats are really comfortable for what they are. But where Jaguar have really made a big difference with this car in terms of the pricing is that they've concentrated very heavily on building the driving dynamics of this vehicle. The suspension, the handling, and the motor and the gearbox. That is where they put all their money and their research. So you know what, as far as I'm concerned, it's not the kind of interior that one would be expecting, but it definitely makes up for it with all the performance and power that this vehicle has got. One of the many other questions that people ask me is, how much time do I spend at the petrol pump? To be honest, it's a 5-litre V8 supercharged developing 405 kilowatts. There's a hell of a lot of power going on there. This car is actually very economical. When booting it around, I've been averaging about 15 to 16 litres per 100 k's, which is a far cry from other 5-litre V8s, which are generating, you know, between over 20 litres per 100 k's. You know, on the open road, I managed to get the car down to 9.5 litres per 100 k's. Now that is remarkable for a kind of car, and it wasn't hoofing it. Definitely wasn't driving like Miss Daisy, but it certainly was an average kind of drive, and the fuel consumption was just incredible from this car. So yeah, you know, you do tend to spend a little less time at the petrol pump, and that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Well done, Jaguar. You've built a fantastic car. Well freaking done. And now we're stuck in traffic. The bane of your existence when owning a vehicle like this. This little 405 kilowatt supercharged 5-litre V8 will push this little, well, I keep using the word little, it's really not little, it's a very pretty car, but it'll definitely get the car going in about 5.5 seconds from to 100 k's an hour. 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Shit, this car's also got a problem. It won't go over 100. I had to get Jag to check that out. So how does this car handle? Like a train on rails, and I hate using that term, but I really can't think of any other term that would really be suitable for this. It really is a superb handling car with the reverse bias all-wheel drive. Makes it a fun car when it wants to be, giving the little tail to slip out every now and then, but just this car just gives you so much leeway, and it just lets you play with it so nicely. It really is a fantastic car. I'm very, very impressed with the handling on it. The steering is precise, it's sharp, it's direct. There's quite a bit of feel in it. They really have done something special with this car. No, really, they have. That's 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds. That's crazy talk. It's fun, definitely a lot of fun, but definitely a lot of crazy talk there. And the sunroof, it's massive. I think the only time I've ever seen a sunroof as big as this would be in an SUV, and this ain't no SUV. Very impressive. You can't open it, but it sure does let a lot of light in there. It makes the cabin feel very airy. Oh, something smells cheesy. Oh, and it's not this car. Oh,